Finally, let's just talk about pictures that are just too big for you or things that you want to remove from the pictures. Now, for example, if you look at this one here, this picture is a good picture. I like the size of it, what's showing, but if you can see, what's showing is cut off over here, but maybe I don't want it to go all the way to the edge like that. Well, there's a feature here called crop, and we talked about it before, but I want to talk about it just one more time. You have to select the picture, and you can see there's all kinds of things that you can do here. Crop to fit aspect ratio, crop to shape, which is interesting. You can actually make something a shape. Okay, I wouldn't recommend that. That's an interesting way of cropping something. So if I go to, let's see, let's find a shape that's actually worthwhile. You know, you have your basic shapes here, but you can shape your pictures to be something other than a square. But the other thing that I want you to do is I want you to learn about cropping just to move things over. Cropping, what it is, it's cutting a portion of your picture off without distorting your picture and resizing your picture. So when you go to crop, you can see right here these angles. Here's a right angle and here's these. This is not the same. You're allowed to grab the top, bottom, and sides on cropping because it doesn't distort the picture. And when you do this, make sure that you hover until it changes into that shape there. You can see it change into that shape, and that means you can crop. Same thing with the corner. I want to crop on this corner here, so I'm just going to hover there and then just move it over until I get what I want. Now, the other part of cropping is once you've got this area right here, don't move it because you can see what you're doing is you're actually moving the picture. Oops, didn't want to do that. Control Z. Somehow it's back, but it's not. This is why I don't do this live. Okay, so let's try that again. We've got the shape here, and we're going to crop again. And so you can see it's fairly simple to crop something, but as I said, don't move it around because that's going to mess it up. I can crop this down a little bit here. And what that allows you to do then is to resize the picture, but before you finish with your cropping, make sure that you click off to the side so that the part that you cropped doesn't move, and then you can just have it resized like that. Now that works really well, but there's another thing that's kind of like crop, but that's also fun. I'm going to pick a good picture for that. All right, so let's take a look at this one. This background that he's got here is annoying. And so what we're going to do is we're going to double click on this, and there's a very cool thing here called remove background. So I'm going to click on that. And notice up here, it pops up this, hold on, come on, cooperate. Okay, it pops this thing up here that gives you all these little options. So it's mark areas to keep, mark areas to remove, delete a mark. So in other words, if you do one of these two, you can actually undo it. Discard all changes, which means you go back to the beginning, and when you're done, keep changes. So let's try this out here. Okay, so notice it gives you this interesting little purple thing around here as sort of a guide, and it's already sort of cut off stuff. So if we were to just say keep changes right now, you can see it's actually just already done stuff for us automatically, but those aren't really the changes we want. So I'm going to hit Control Z and try this again. So I'm going to click on Remove Background. Up here it says Mark the areas to keep. And so what you do is you click on this one to select it. And here, I'm just going to move this up because I want his head. And this is the area that we're working with, so you can actually enlarge the area. And you can see that it's actually doing it automatically. So it's actually done a lot for me. We'll try another one, but this area, this white area here, I don't want, so I'm going to say mark area to remove. And watch what I do. I just take the pen, draw a line up, and it selects that area. So anything that's purple means that it's selected. And when I'm done, I say keep changes, and take a look at what happened here. So you can see I've got a little bit of work right here and right here. There's no eraser tool for this. So again, I'm just going to escape, go back, remove background, and mark areas to remove. I'm just going to kind of run it down this way, and hopefully keep changes. That took care of those two little lines. Let's see if that worked. Okay, so I've just got a little bit right here, but let's try this again on another picture. It doesn't work on all pictures. Let's see if we can isolate this woman right here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see it. Let's say we wanted to do this one. Not that it's necessary, but let's just try it anyway. So I'm going to double click on the picture, click on remove background, and as you can see, it's already sort of selected areas. This is a more complicated picture, so I'm expecting that there's a lot more things that are going to kind of be weird here. So yeah, it's obviously. So moving in on her a little bit more, we can take a look at the areas. Now, what is it that we want to keep? Oops, a little too far, Mr. Jameson. What is it that we want to keep and what is it that we want to get rid of? Well, let's say I just want her. Okay, well, there are parts of her I do want to keep. So I'm going to zoom in. I want her head. So I'm just going to mark that area right there with a pen and say keep that. Okay, so you can keep her head. I want her dress right here. So we're going to keep that. But let's say I want to get rid of all this stuff around her. So I can just kind of go like this and just drag these lines here, get rid of this person here. And so as you can see, and it's weird because some other stuff pops up when I got rid of the other stuff here. So I'm not quite sure why that works that way. But here we go. I think we've pretty much accomplished what we're looking to do here. And again, if I wanted to remove that one, let's say I said, no, I want that. Actually, I want that. I can click on it and it removes it. So you can remove the marks that you've done, but I do actually want to get rid of that one. So I'm going to say this one and this, her feet, and this block right here, maybe this, and this thing right here. Okay, but I do want her foot. So we're going to select her foot and select the other foot. All right, so let's have a look. I'm going to say keep changes. And there's one more section here, so I'm going to remove background. I forgot. Remove the area again. And notice I'm moving away from her like this. It's much easier to do it that way than towards her. Oops, I got a bit more of her that I removed that I didn't want to remove. But yeah, let's see. I'll just take this up here just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Weird. Something else pops up. Go away. So you can see this is not the perfect thing, but all right, so you can see how many times I've had to do this. But let's say keep changes. And here I have, let me zoom out. Here I have this woman. I'm going to click on her. It's still selected, and I can make her by herself. Zoom out so I can do this easier. Very large. And let's see how that looks. Wow. So that is a very, very cool feature of PowerPoint, or Microsoft Office actually, and it's called Remove Background.